All right, we're going live, man. We're gonna do it. I'm not afraid. Even if my fucking glasses are crooked. Together, man. We're here. We're in it to win it. All right, professional sound guy, doing all kinds of sound things. No, nothing I do is sound. In fact, most everything I do is unsound. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Let's see. What are we talking about? What have you guys been up to this week? If I got chat ability over here, so if you feel like chatting, you can like chat in the chat thing. That's where they do the chat, because that's just where it's at. I don't have any other answers for you. What have I been up to this week? I've been busy doing all kinds of stuff, trying to work, marketing the book. Yes, marketing the book. Working on some LLC shit, just building a web page, getting another web page built, doing my job, going to Brainerd for a day, overnight, and came back, and then now I'm here with you, and this is what we're doing. I do have a list of things to talk about. Tonight, I'm probably going to be all over the board, so I'm going to start doing a little bit of a new thing. Towards the end, I'm going to talk about like maybe what I'm reading, maybe get an idea of what you're reading, and then also maybe do a review of some kind. Talk about what I've been doing. How's that? Does that sound good? I think I can do that. One thing I didn't do? I didn't send my Twitter thingy out. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I'm not dumb. Well, I don't think I'm smart. I think I'm resourceful, but I'm not dumb. So let's see. No, other things I want to talk about is I want to talk about like action, writing action, as far as what I think is required, because I'm the best-selling author and I know things about buildings and food, but that's irrelevant. That is loud. That's like movie loud. I'll have to type quieter because I moved my mic. The mic used to be here and now it's here. It's like not so here. It's like here, or like not so there. I like this better. No idea what I'm talking about. All right, let's say. Okay, hold on a second. Did I do it right? I did it right. Who knew? Boom. Done. Thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. I do apologize. And I'm done. See? It's like when you're getting in trouble with your mom and she's like, if you don't stop doing that, I'm taking it away. And you always wait till she starts to turn around to come at you, and then you're like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. No, this week I'm going to talk about action, talk a little bit about characters, as far as what they bring to the table, and equally what we as writers or creatives bring to the table when it comes to our characters, if that makes any sense. But first of all, action in your story. What kind of action is it? Is it, see, they did it again. Dick glasses. Kill me now, man. Just kill me now. Is it a fight? Is it a chase scene? Is it a gun battle? Is it, what is it? It's kind of important to have an idea. I mean, it's one thing to want to have a gunfight or want to draw something like that out, but it needs to be a reason for it, and it needs to be thought out. You really need to have a really good idea of, like I said, why it's happening. I'm not a big guy for like gratuitous. Well, I'm a big guy for gratuitous violence or sex. I like it where it belongs, and trust me, I like violence and sex. In fact, one of my favorite albums is Sax and Violins by Talking Heads. But that's for another story. What was I saying? Yeah, so you want to make sure, like, you're a lot of the stuff, if you want to do it right and you want it to be believable, you're going to want to choreograph it to a degree. So, A, does it belong in the story? Okay, yeah, sure, it works. It moves the story along. Okay, good. Now let's draw it so it's believable, so it sticks with the reader, so they remember it, right? And I mean, I've gone to ridiculous lengths at times when I had a shootout in one of my screenplays that I wrote. I had a shootout at the Venetian hotel, and that took a lot of research and a lot of trying to get the layout and the floor plan down to a science, so that I could actually utilize the environment for the gun battle. And it was hard, but at the end, when I sat down and I look at it and I'm like, holy shit, that's pretty goddamn good, because it's believable. And no, I'm not looking at my stuff and saying, hey, that's pretty goddamn good. I don't mean it like that. That sounded arrogant, but that wasn't my intent. But you want to be able to read it and have it progress, because if you understand the environment where you're trying to do your scene, at that point it's pretty straightforward to write, especially if you're familiar with it, so you can write around it and within it, and you'll find that you can do some pretty fun stuff, especially, and like I said, write what you know. For years I used to hear that, and I'd think that I had to write a story according to what I know, but what they're really saying is use what you know within what you're writing, if that makes any sense. So, establishments you've been in, stores you've been in, curiosity places that you looked at, maybe you walked into it and you said, hey man, wow, I could fucking live here. I like this place. And so at that point that will get stuck in your head and you'll remember that place. And then when it comes to writing, use that place, man. You can do some really cool things with stuff like that. Like, there's a place I've never been in, but I've always wanted to go. I know what it looks like inside and out. I've studied it. I've wrote about it. It's the Egyptian Theater in Ogden, Utah. It's a beautiful, beautiful theater with this Egyptian motif, and just the artwork in it is just stunning, for lack of a more colorful metaphor. God, I say that too much. But I've never been in it, so everything I know about it, I've gleaned from the internet. But I felt that I knew it well enough to where I could write a scene or an event that goes on in there and take it where it needs to be, because I'm halfway familiar with it. I'm very familiar with the outside. Now, I might not. Now, that might sound like that's clashing when I say write about what you know, because since I've never been in it, I don't know shit about it. Well, that's true. I don't know shit about that, but I've researched it enough. I know what it's like from the outside. I have an intimate relationship with it there, if that makes any sense, and don't take that the wrong way. But I do want to go to it sometime. But like I said, there's sometimes you might have a fantastical place that doesn't exist, right? That it's not a place that you've ever been to, but it might be a place that you could make, if that makes any sense. So I had a truck stop that I had to there was a gunfight that had to happen in another one of my novellas, and in fact that was the same one that the Venetian was in, but it was just this out of the way truck stop, and I drew this restaurant. I have 20 years of food service. I love saying that because my wife just makes fun of me all the time when I say it, but I do. So I have a good idea what the kitchen and office and customer area and all that stuff. I get what it should look like. So, and I worked at a truck stop in 1979. That's a long time ago for some of you who weren't even here then. But that took it in itself. That took its own right. So I don't recommend that. I'd rather see you write something that you know. It'd be easier. But then again, building the restaurant yourself, and then doing it that way, I guess, is an okay thing too. Um, but and once you have your place or your locale, look at the kind of action scene it is. Is it a fight? Is it a chase scene? Is it a gun battle? Is it um, magic shit flying everywhere? Once you have an idea of what it is, think about that as you're writing it, because you can't just say, hey man, he kicked his ass here and then he kicked his ass over there, man, there was kicking ass everywhere, dude. It's like, no, that's not how you want to do it. You want to paint it. You don't have to paint every micro move, you know what I'm saying? But you definitely want as much of the movement as possible in the descriptive, because that's the thing that hooks people and makes them turn the page, if that makes any sense. So yeah, just look at what you're writing about, like, especially, like I said, if it's a gun battle, understand the guns that you're using, understand that when you shoot people, they don't fly back 13, 15 feet like fucking Billy Jack or Walking Tall, Buford Buzzer. Who'd name their kid Buford Buzzer? That was a real person. Especially if your last name's Puzzer. But not knocking the man, because he was quite the dude who got kind of screwed over in the long run by the powers that be. Are they on right? No. God damn it. Anyway, just kill me now. Just kill me now, Bobby. Yeah, so like I said, fights, whatever it is, if it's martial arts, now especially if you know something about martial arts, I'm very self-conscious about this tonight. I don't know why. I don't feel pretty. I looked at a Cosmopolitan magazine cover. Those magazines will make you feel ugly. Baz Luhrmann had his shit together when he said that. But like I said, if you write, when I say write what you know, use what you know when you're writing. When it comes to characters, sometimes you'll come up with a character that you don't have a place for in a story, but you've come up with this character, and sorry, had a notification come in and it caught my attention. When you're, yeah, 'cause you might have a character that you really don't know where to put them right now. You don't know where to use them, and maybe in a story they don't, so you got to shelve those guys. You got to put them in a box, throw them on a shelf for a while, keep them in the back of your head, and sometimes that shelf will be a little spot in the story where I kind of put that character, or I talked about that character maybe coming into the tale at some point, but then keep them in storage. And when you're, if you get writer's block, or you set a story aside for a while, or you're just not writing, maybe you're taking a day off or so, when those characters are in storage in your head, you want to make sure that you have something between them, a wedge of some kind, a mental wedge, so that, because one thing that it's not hard to do is suddenly your characters can have the same voice, the same tone, the same, and then they're just great characters and they all bleed together, and after a while nobody has their own voice. So make sure that obviously as a writer you want to make sure your characters have their own voice, but when you're storing them, when you're putting them away in your head, because you're gonna, like I said, you got writer's block, you got to take a break, you got to go do a thing, or you see a guy about a horse, whatever it is, just make sure that they retain their own voice. Does that make sense? Yeah, like I said, they want to have their own voice. You work hard to give them their own voice. When you're storing them away in your head, make sure you get something between them so that you don't get bleed over or anything like that. Another thing you might find too with when you're writing is emoting. You'll find yourself emoting for your characters from some time, and it's a weird feeling when it happens for the first time. You're writing this character, you're doing this thing to them, and if you think about that. We're torturing virtual characters. When we write, we've got this vast ensemble, or maybe a small ensemble, but whether they're the protagonist or the antagonist, we're putting these guys through hell. And we're just like, okay, yeah, you're going to get shot in the face. You're going to lose your wife and your kid. You're going to survive. And then you're going to be a hero of some shit like that. But I'm trying to think of how to explain it. You might be writing a scene, and all of a sudden you might feel that lump in your throat. You might feel that thing that makes you go, oh man, this is sad. And you're creating that sadness. You're actually, I think if you find yourself doing that, or emoting as it were, you might be on the right path, because I think it's important to love your characters, if that makes any sense, or care about your characters to the degree that you understand them, you know them. I mean, if you think about it, they're your creations. You birthed them. You carried them for 9 months. 36 hours of labor to get you out of me. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Sorry, just doing this thing. God, that keyboard is fucking insane. It makes you go, Jesus, that keyboard is insane. I don't usually type during the show, but people are saying, hey, no, man, I don't got any of the acid from Woodstock. Sorry, dude. Anyway, I'm back. No, it's the funniest thing, because there's sometimes I've put characters through some pretty harsh realities, and I find myself at times I'll be as I'm editing, you know, because obviously rewrite. I never understood how much how important that was until I started doing it. But when you find yourself in a situation, like I said, I was writing a particular scene with Samantha Holcomb, and it was kind of a heart-wrenching scene, because I put that poor girl through hell. I really hope she doesn't. None of my characters come to life, because they're going to kick my ass. But when I was writing a couple of those scenes with her that were really touching, really close, and really just close to the heart, visceral, if you will, I found myself bawling like a little bitch. Just crazy stuff. And I have a visitor. What do you want? My cat. My cat's here to say hello. See, that's his tail right there. He wants treats. Anyway, I'm back. He's going to come back here. You just wait. He will come back. He's going to... What do you want? I'm doing a thing here. I know you don't give a fuck, but no, you can't mess with my pop screen. You're being a dick. I don't have any treats. So yeah, and when it comes to emoting for the characters, like I'm saying, it's okay. Do it. Let it, because that... the more you emote for a character, to a degree, don't go fucking nuts, don't go crazy. The more you do it, the more you put into that character. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let's see. What are you guys reading right now? Just curious. I'm reading, right now I'm reading SEAL Team 666. I've looked at that book for quite a while. It's been on my... Hey, based on other books you've read, sorry, just doing that. That's me. I'm doing that. Sorry. We just don't want anyone to get hurt, Mr. Parker. There. Trust me, it's for the cat. That's how stupid we are with the fucking cats. We're nuts. All right, he gets it. Anyway, I'm reading SEAL Team 666 right now, and I don't want to say I avoided it, but yeah, I avoided it because it was just so. It just sounded like it sounded pulpy. Does that make sense? And I'm not a big fan of pulp, even though I've read my fair share of it. One of my favorite pulp series, I think it is even part of the pulp fiction genre, the literal pulp fiction genre, was the Mac Bolan series. I think it was called The Executioner. But he was this guy who could just it's such false advertising for being a gray hat bad guy. It's just bullshit. But it was really good stuff because he was able to slide in and out of situations and take care of the bad guys and what have you. And it was real good. I think there's over 100, if not 200, in the entire series. I've read probably 40 of them. Yeah, I'd say 40. But that's just another tangent altogether. I finally did pick it up, and I'm really liking it. Weston Oakes writes some. He writes some really good stuff. He's got the Grunt series. It's a trilogy about Earth being attacked by aliens. I think the first one's Grunt Hero, and then Grunt Trader, and then Grunt something else. But it's Weston Oakes. But SEAL Team 666, I thought it was just going to be your typical demonic devil shit, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's not. It's actually surprisingly good, and the way they blend in the fantastical with reality is actually done quite fairly, if that makes any sense. I'm about, at this point, I'm probably about halfway through it. Really enjoying it, though. I think there's another book in the series, or two. I'm not sure. But that's a really good, so far, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, so that's what I'm reading. I don't watch, I'm kind of a YouTube junkie. I don't watch a lot of regular TV generally. In fact, we don't have cable, we don't have air, we don't have satellite. We got nothing but Apple TV. But I mean, we've got Prime, we got Netflix, Apple rentals, buy purchases, whatever. But we also have Amazon Prime, and Jack Ryan is on there. And I was curious to watch that just because it's Jim from The Office. I forget his name, John Krasinski. He plays Jack Ryan, and the first episode is pretty goddamn good. I mean, it was really, really good. I mean, I got the same satisfaction. I'm not comparing the Jack Ryan series to a Bourne movie because those are distinct and on their own. But I came away with that same endorphin rush to a degree, and I think it was really good. I enjoyed it, and probably gonna watch another episode tonight, maybe if I don't do some work in Illustrator and website shit. But I recommend it. I do definitely recommend the Jack Ryan thus far. Up to now. Okay, so what else? I wish I could just reverse my fucking camera. You know what I'm saying? Just reverse it, and then I'm not like, oh, my left or my right? Oh, the up is down. Fucking left is right. Give me a break. Last but not all, I want to do a book review. I was thinking that I would review a book I read last called The Terminal List. The Terminal List by somebody. Somebody wrote it. They did. And you'd think I'd have that right in front. This is such a professional podcast. Joe Rogan's got nothing on me. Nothing. All right. Let's hit my library. Bitches. And there we go. Jack Carr. Now, this is an older book, too. This isn't necessarily a newer book, per se. I'm confusing the release date with another one, because this was released on my birthday. That's why I remember this one. Birthday of this year. 21 years old. I can drink beer. Now, he's basically... he's a Navy SEAL whose entire platoon gets wasted over in Afghanistan. And then, just a series of events start happening. Like his wife and kids are killed right when he gets home, because they send him home immediately, pretty much, after they figure everything out. And he figures out that there's a conspiracy out there. And so he goes out on a vengeance mission. And it's actually... It was a pretty good book. I really enjoyed the characters he brought in. He was true to his characters. He let them grow the way they needed to. I mean, yeah, there are a couple areas where you have to set aside reality for a minute. You just got to go, no, okay, yeah, that probably wouldn't happen in real life, but it's okay because it's an action. It's an action thing, and just figure it's like a Tom Cruise or a Mark Wahlberg action movie of some kind. I know I couldn't come up with a better selection, but either way, the Terminal List was really good. The story was pretty moving. I was really surprised that he took the character in the direction he did without me letting out too much about the story. I hope to see the character again, especially since, if I go and say that, then I'm just giving shit away, and that's not fair, is it? God, you're such a dick, man. I know, shut up. Both of you guys. I'm trying to sleep. It happens. So yeah, the book, the Terminal List, though, I did enjoy it, and I found myself sitting in like if I'm listening to it in the car and I pull up somewhere, I did find myself sitting there waiting because I'm listening and I want to know what happens with this scene. That happens sometimes. So other than that, I recommend it. The Terminal List by Jack Carr. I listened to it and it was really good. I'm sure reading it would be just as good. So other than that, it's kind of quiet in the chat tonight, so that's something I'm just going to have to live with, okay? So that's another week. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about next week. I'll probably talk about pulling shit out of my ass when it comes to writing. Keep it clean. Because sometimes you'll be sitting there with ideas about characters and you're like, oh man, what should I do with this? Should I do this? Should I do that? And sometimes you'll just have no idea. And sometimes we'll talk about it next week. So either way, so you want to be a writer, episode 4. And I think I'm out of here. I think we're going to cut this off short before something really, really bad happens. God, I hope I don't get swatted or anything.